Welcome to TikTok Shop Insiders Podcast, your source for actionable news, trends, and strategies. If you want to build a thriving brand or creator presence on TikTok Shop, this is your essential listen. Let's get started.
Welcome, everyone, to TikTok Shop Insiders Podcast, your source for the latest news and strategies on TikTok Shop. I am your host, Ivan. What is up, everyone? It's been a crazy last couple weeks since I talked with you guys, right? Right now, today is January 24, recording this podcast, and beginning of the year until now, it's just been super crazy, right? We're banned, we're not banned. The inauguration happened, the different social media heads are meeting with Trump, and one day I'm thinking we don't have a business, the next day we're live and thriving. So anyway, yeah, pretty crazy week, or last couple weeks since we last talked. But as of the moment, give you some updates here. But Trump just took office on the 20th, and he basically is in favor for TikTok Shop, right? And so in doing so, he granted like a 75-day extension to the TikTok Shop, TikTok ban, right? And so we have 75 days to figure out who it is. He also suggested, some things like a 50% joint venture between ByteDance and a U.S. partner, as well as the U.S. government being a part of that mix, right? So I read somewhere where it would be a license, let's say, and um, the U.S. would grant the license to the U.S. company who will buy TikTok, the U.S. portion of TikTok, and the U.S. government will get their piece of the pie, the investor will get their piece of the pie, and ByteDance will get um, TikTok U.S. purchase from them versus not existing, right? So I guess away everyone wins, and that's kind of how deals go, right? Like it's not going to be all granted to TikTok, and then just TikTok wins. And this is a way for kind of everyone to get their piece of the pie. So yeah, I think it's a huge thing, right? I mean, my business is made for me. I feel that a number of our listeners here, their businesses are huge, right? So 170 million users, 7 million small businesses, and I'm sure that includes advertisers on there as well as affiliates, etc. So huge economic impact. And yeah, I think it's a good thing that TikTok Shop will exist. So I'm happy for that. And then right now it's only a 75-day ban or 75-day extension, but I fully expect it to go past that 75 days, right? I don't believe we're going to be in the same situation of kind of that limbo stage that we were a couple weeks ago, right? So negotiations are happening, potential buyers. So TikTok, just stay tuned. I'll update you as soon as I can. All right. And so, yeah, I think as of this morning or yesterday afternoon, TikTok is not available on US App Store. So if you're unfortunately deleted your app, you cannot re-download it. Right. And so I fully, anticipate it coming back, but I think this was in preparation for the ban. Right. So I know Apple and Google were going to get fined. I think it's like $5,000 per user. Um, if they kept the app up available for download, right? So obviously that could mount up to something huge, and they kind of didn't want to take the risk, so they probably took it off their platforms until kind of like further notice, right? So yeah, and it's not unusual to see TikTok app not available. I'm kind of seeing it, across the the range of people that I've talked with. So yeah, I think fully expect it to come back. So keep an eye out for that. We get emails from TikTok as sellers. We get emails all the time, right? One of them I'm very excited about. I think it was new TikTok shop rules, authenticity, and affiliate marketing and campaigns. And what I took from here is that they're going to get more strict on authentic products being sold on TikTok shop. And that's great. I know previous podcasts, me and Pat talked about that Lenovo wannabe and essentially using Lenovo's name and likeness and kind of, throwing out a kind of earphone that isn't authentic, right? And I actually read some Reddit posts about it causing headaches, right? But anyway, so yeah, that's a problem, right? If you don't have authentic goods, you're going to get lower quality products and overall unhappy customer. And I know our friends at GoPure, they see this a lot, and really, really successful TikTok shop brands, they see this a lot, where they get a viral hit, they get a viral product, and dozens of competitors or counterfeit listings pop up, right? It's not the same product. They're not trying to sell the brand name's product, but the pictures, images, packaging, everything else but the name is a direct copy, right? And so that's kind of crazy to see. And a novice shopper or beginner shopper or new to the platform won't know the difference, right? They just see the color of the product and think it's a product that is authentic, and they don't know the difference, right? So they see other products, other videos out there that are viral and for the real product, and they get retargeted with a different product, and they think it's one and the same. So yeah, this is great, as in, like, TikTok is now gonna remove some of those products that are getting a high rate of counterfeit claims or in authenticity claims. So I'm super excited about that. It's gonna make the headaches of brands that are doing well, or brands that are getting copycatted, some reprieve. So cool. Up next, so some of the lessons that I've learned through this ban is like, okay, expand, right? TikTok might not be forever, but that's just maybe a drastic way of looking at it. But you should always be on the lookout for what are these other channels. What else can be, can we use to our advantage, right? Social commerce is just, the umbrella that covers it all. TikTok's just the first iteration of it, but there's plenty of other options out there. So some of them are Flip, which is a platform that highlights product reviews. So essentially, an affiliate, a content creator can talk about a product and therefore sell that product within Flip and get a commission base, right? The pro there is that it's built out. There's lots of brands getting sales, but the con is there's not a lot of traffic. TikTok has traffic from its kind of native app, right? Just entertainment app, but Flip doesn't really have that. And this next section of apps, it's kind of a different category of not quite developed yet. Speaking about Meta and Instagram, right? Facebook, Instagram. So I just actually saw the first iteration of Facebook Shops or Reels connected to a affiliates affiliates video, and there's like a small ellipses on the bottom and a small kind of button that you need to click. And I think this is for like kind of testing purposes. But anyway, so it connected a viral video, or not necessarily viral, but it connected a video that's promoting a product to a product page that you can buy from. So this is just kind of like V1 of that Facebook shop experience, right? So I'm super excited to see that. So yeah, I know it's just right around the corner. So just keep an eye out for it. Another one is YouTube. YouTube's social commerce iteration is a YouTube short with a kind of bigger button, and that connects to a either a Target.com or a Walmart.com and select brands websites, right? So a Shopify website, and so you go from YouTube Short to click that button, and it takes you externally to that website where you can buy the product. So this is great, right? In my first test with it and talking with YouTube affiliates and YouTube brands, the the power here is that you can now track those affiliate sales, commissions, etc., and they get paid accordingly, right? So the very basics are there. um the pros for YouTube, it's I'm seeing it frequently. I'm seeing every time I see one, or let's say like 50% of the time I see a YouTube affiliate button, the product will be sold out. So YouTube videos, it's YouTube affiliates, it's on the horizon, and it's coming. A bad part about it is that it's not internal to the app, right? You have to go external to YouTube, right? So it doesn't have its own version of shops. I fully intend it to have its shops, but right now it doesn't. And so the problem, I don't even know if it's a problem, but you go from the traffic going from YouTube to the website, and the sale happening on your .com or on Target, etc. So yeah, I'm excited for that as well. And then kind of some quick notes here. It's X/Twitter rolled out with its its short form video feature in their menu bar there, right? So not only can you scroll for text and copy and tweets, now they have a video section. So I just know that shoppable content is gonna soon follow, right? So keep a lookout for all that stuff. And now for the main portion of the podcast, I wanted to talk about kind of like the different platforms and the pros and cons of the different platforms, right? And a little history on myself. So, um, I started as with my own Amazon product. I was a private label seller. I sold seat cushions and orthopedic braces and foot pads, etc. This was 12 years ago. Yeah, and so nights and weekends, I would, you know, research products. I would find what was ranking on Amazon, and how can I change that product so that it's more appealing to buyers, right? I landed on a seat cushion where I would, I bought 1,000 units of a seat cushion on a credit card. I think it was like $5,000. Yeah, $5,000 on a credit card. Not the smartest decision. Something I wouldn't, uh, advise to anyone, but I did it, and I'm glad I did it. But yeah, so I bought 5,000 units of a seat cushion, put that up on Amazon, and continued to sell, right? And so back then it was kind of like the wild, wild west. You could do a lot more than gray hat tactics, right? So you would get friends and family to buy and leave a review. You would get review groups to buy and leave a review, and then that would puff up your review rating, and then also puff up your ranking on Amazon. So I was ranking top one, two, three, for seat cushions and back braces and feet cushions, right? So uh, I grew that to a 7-figure business in about 2.5, 3 years, and then I sold it there, right? So 10 years of Amazon experience is kind of like where I have my backbone in e-commerce. So I learned a lot about Amazon there, and with that skill set, I became the head of Amazon at a number of brands, right? One of my first jobs as a head of Amazon was at a supplement company, and their main traffic revenue channel was Facebook ads to website. And it was great. Like they did so well that a lot of their traffic to Amazon was, a lot of their traffic was spilling over to Amazon, and they were getting sales. And they didn't have anyone to manage their Amazon channel. Like, it wasn't optimized. Ads were kind of all over the place. There wasn't really a system or something in charge. And I was like, yeah, I could lead that really easily. So yeah, I went to that company, but during that time at that company, I learned so much about Facebook marketing. Just what it took, landing pages, A/B testing, the different content that you need, the different videos, etc. All the huge funnel, top of the funnel, middle of the funnel, bottom of the funnel, right? So I learned all that at that company, and it was great, right? So ran the Amazon there, learned a lot about just Facebook marketing at that company. And I kind of wanted to talk about the differences that I see between like Facebook, Amazon, and TikTok Shop. And for me, I'll break it down first with Facebook. On Facebook, I think you need one of the characteristics of a successful brand or product on Facebook is a higher AOV, right? You can't make Facebook work with a $10 product. Um, just the CPAs, the cost per acquisition is, it's not gonna be scalable, right? So your CPAs, your cost per acquisitions has to be, less than your product price, your average order value, right? So on Facebook, I learned that you need to have a higher AOV, or order value, to make it work there. And so you needed that premium product, kind of, either bundles or whatnot. So what made it great is that you can kind of, once you found a system where you only paid $10 for a $20 product, well, now you can scale that, right? Now the Facebook audience is so big, and then you can kind of, the challenge now is, scaling that and getting it to a wider audience, right? And so, yeah, I think Facebook is great in that aspect. You can, kind of build a business from that. What sucks about it is that, as time goes on, your audience will get smaller and smaller, right? That effectiveness will kind of dissipate over time, and kind of have a cap to that. Um, there'll be more competition. If a competitors or similar product sees you're doing great on Facebook, they're probably going to do similar campaigns in yours, right? So it's going to get tougher and tougher as time goes on. So the challenge there is to iterate and differentiate as time goes on. The better you can do that, the better success you're going to get on Facebook, right? So yeah, so that's kind of like my quick thoughts on Facebook. Up next is, pretty deep knowledge on this, but Amazon. What's a successful product on Amazon? So for me, it started with product selection. And, you know, when you think of product selection, you want to think of what is the best seller? What are the best sellers on Amazon for your category, for your product? And then you have to think about in your product development, like what makes that product like sell well? What can you do to change the form or the construction of the product to be differentiated, have a higher perceived value. Very important here. Like what's the higher perceived value that you can add to your product that others aren't, other existing ones. So for me, it was a seat cushion, like, so 10 years ago. So back in the day, it was just like one kind of simple looking piece of foam with like a gray or black cover. Super simple. So I was like, okay, let me think about this. So what I did was I was like, what if we put like mesh for like breathable material, right? Because one of the biggest complaints is it got too hot. Well, if we added mesh, we opened it up. Now it's breathable. Now it's less hot. So that's one thing I did, as well as a handle. They're like one of the complaints I saw. One of the negative reviews is I can't carry it anywhere. It's a big, bulky type seat cushion. It'd be great if there's a handle. So I added a handle. And so a couple other things. Instead of just make it monocolor, like one color, I had different. The side was one color, the top was one color, and the bottom was a like kind of a slip proof material. So it kind of all those factors together, kind of when you had it as the same price, or even I think it was like $10 higher, um, it's a no brainer. Like, oh yeah, I would want all these features for just $10 more versus competitors, right? So yeah, that's what I did. On Amazon, you that it starts with product selection and product development. Like, how can you make yours different? So that's yeah, I put that out there, and then from there it becomes a battle of putting it online, putting a listing up, and then getting the reviews. So that's what I did. Ask friends and families, review groups, etc., to get those reviews, and then you know that kind of enhanced product plus your kind of onboarding your startup kind of process with the listing over time, eventually rolls the ranks and rolls the ranks and rolls the ranks, right? So a span of 3 years, did that same thing across 10 products, and then grew it to a seven-figure business and exited, right? So it's great because you get your product up there, and you battle to get your SEO value up and get higher in the rankings. But at that point, it's pretty much an easy game. I don't want to say set it and forget it, but it's as set it and forget it as you can, right? So you spend some time with the product research, you spend some time with, battling, optimizing your SEO, and you're kind of maybe writing a little pretty, right? And so it's a great kind of entry way for me in e-commerce, learning Amazon. But yeah, I think, some of the bad parts about it are like slim margins, right? Constant price wars. Like after a year, I saw copycats, right? And so that's gonna take its toll, as well as customer loyalty, right? Amazon's a pretty commoditized platform where a customer doesn't care one brand from the next, right? So they're not going to be loyal to your brand. So yeah, I think the game became, more product launches with more unique ideas, and then kind of continuing that over time to kind of maintain your Amazon business. And so, yeah, that's kind of what I did. So yeah, that was a great business. And yeah, so successfully exited from that. And then that allowed me to kind of get connections and really understand TikTok Shop, right? So during my time, I was the head of Amazon at Go Pure Beauty, which is a top 5, top 10 TikTok Shop seller that went viral with their neck cream. And so I was a head of Amazon at Go Pure Beauty and saw firsthand how amazing TikTok Shop was and how viral it can get, right? So, seven-figure sales off one product off the back of TikTok shop affiliate videos, I was like, this is a no-brainer. This is like amazing. I felt like I struck gold just by being witness to the whole system. So this was mid 23 or late 23, 2023. And I was like, I was hooked. Spent nights and weekends just thinking about TikTok shop and, the kind of impact that it could have on e-commerce, and it continues to have. So yeah, in 24, decided to branch off on my own and start my own kind of TikTok shop empire, if you will, right? So this podcast agency, affiliate network, Affiliate Academy HQ, where we interview the top 1% of TikTok shop affiliates, and really went headfirst into the TikTok shop space. So yeah. So that's kind of, my Amazon journey led me to a company that went, that did, crazy numbers on TikTok shop. And from that, I kind of found the spark of like wanting to be, a thought leader in the space. So here we are today. But I've compiled some thoughts here, like why TikTok. So awesome, right? So, um, characteristics of a top TikTok product, TikTok shop brand, trend friendly, right? You want to make sure that the top products, if you look, they have a little bit of a kind of uniqueness to them, right? Like Go Pure's neck cream, very unique, right? There's not a leader in the space. But if you're gonna kind of, there aren't very many like commoditized Amazon products, like a sheet cushion won't necessarily do too well, right? Because it's kind of commoditized. So yeah, I think another characteristic is a great before and after on a product. You want to make sure that the videos translate a great before and after, right? So that's why vacuums do well, like dirty not dirty, or skincare. This is, I've been using it for 2 weeks. This is what I look like before. That's pretty awesome, right? So um, kind of that before and after of what makes a good product, right? And I think TikTok Shop also provides us with, in a place for people to, have impulse buys, right? They see the product, they see before and after. Well, it's a quick button to press to get that buy across, right? So combining that e-commerce element with a viral video is kind of amazing, right? We haven't really seen that before. So, um, yeah, I think that's a kind of a great successful product there. And what really sucks about it is sometimes it's in certain niches, it can be oversaturated. Um, you know, you'll start to see one product lead off and copycats of that product. And so it'll get saturated fast. And I think one common thing that I have about TikTok is it's it'll get it moves very fast, right? So it's fast to have a success there, but at the same time, it's fast for copycatters to come and kind of take a little bit of that success. So it's important to kind of stay on top of it. More products. Don't let up on your affiliate, marketing, right? And so to I'm thinking about this one story. So I was talking with this brand, and it's a supplement brand, and they uh, killed it on TikTok Shop. I think they were doing like 300,000 a week, um, early 24, and they were killing it. And so leadership was saying that they didn't want to send as many samples, and they wanted to kind of pull back on samples and kind of let everything take its course. And so that eventually translated to not many samples sent out, not many videos made, and slowly kind of ate away at the business, right? They took away that flywheel that was happening on TikTok Shop because they wanted to get more profitable on their P&L. So yeah, it was kind of one of those stories where you got to really keep your foot on the gas when it comes to TikTok success, right? You get one viral hit, you want to find more viral hits, right? So, yeah, that's one lesson I took away. It acts super fast, both your growth, but also people that want to take away from your growth. So definitely stick on it. And yeah, I think that pretty much kind of ends it for today's episode. I just wanted to kind of go over what I thoughts on the different platforms, right? Like Facebook, has its pros and cons, like high AOV, having to stay on top of trends and, testing consistently and making sure that that's always kind of forefront, right? On Amazon, it's a lot of hard work up front, a lot of competition, differentiation. But once you're up there, it's kind of maybe a little bit smoother than it is to start. And then TikTok Shop, it's, viral hits and e-commerce element to the viral hits and moving fast. And so, yeah, I think also TikTok Shop is just maybe a little over a year old now, and it's only going to get, more kind of involved and more details and a lot more kind of things to come, right? Like TikTok's development team is the fastest I've ever seen. So there's going to be more and more new features and, et cetera, that's going to come across. So yeah, I'm excited for it. That's, main reason I made this podcast is just kind of get my ideas out there and talk about TikTok Shop. Anyone that wants to talk TikTok Shop, you can, visit TikTokShopInsiders.com. There's a link to the Slack group there. You can message me and talk TikTok Shop all day. And yeah, that concludes it for today. The different channels, and wanted to kind of lay it out there. If you have any questions, let me know. I'll be on TikTokShopInsiders.com. All right, guys. Thanks. Catch you next time.